What is going on, everybody? Chris Nirvana Tool here with a recorded replay of my round one match against Jerva. So this is for Campaign Edition. I am running Lord Gahid Relian. Good old Dev Cavalry, the OG Dev Cavalry, if you will. My thought here was I wanted to kind of run a deck. Like Cavalry is something that doesn't really get played a lot in Campaign Edition. Oh, sorry, it gets played a lot in Campaign Edition. It doesn't get played a lot in Ancients, and so we really rarely get to see it on stream. So I figured this is my one chance to do it. Let me do it, and then on top of that, I went Dev. I want to go Dev Cavalry. Okay, so the thing is, Sir Alaron is just usually better than Lord Gahid in just about every way, shape, and form. So I thought it'd be more flavorful if I went with Lord Gahid. And because I was like, maybe if I just cut out all these paladins and these storm rates that I don't really need, then Gahid's initiative ability is kind of just better for like the hound start. So I went with that. So what we have here, going up against Jerva, first time on the stream here. He requested that we not do a live stream. But he was cool with us recording it and cool with me kind of doing, just everything over here. So you don't have the audio for this game live. Like I have it muted. Like I'm listening to it as I'm kind of doing this. So like if I hear us kind of say anything, I'll just kind of relay it. But just for everyone's comfort and just for ease, I'll just be talking over this. So that's what we're working with. He's running Sorscha. It's a drag and drop deck. So we'll see some cool stuff here. We see him starting Triple Brine Fiend, Tyrant Ruskin, and then Sorscha. I'm starting Hounds and Justinians. The Hounds are really to get my guys up there real fast, as we're seeing right here. I started with a Mariah Blackthorn. Gave her a figurine that she can now bring to the front, and then got a Griffin. So Mariah gets to the front in one action. I'll eventually play that figurine, but right now I'm just kind of putting some pressure on those front ranks. So, should be easy enough to hit some Brine Fiends. Mariah's big enough to do that. See, in my opening hand, I had 4 steeds. But luckily, I was able to have that character to kind of support that. So, that's the idea of what we want. And then again, against a deck like Sorscha, where she's trying to build out her ranks and not really go aggressive in the front rank, like not until later on, try and get set up. Lord Gahid then, in those kind of cases, is fine with coming to the front rank and living life dangerously. He's not a leader that hides in the back ranks. He's going to go up to the front and command his will. So I'm a lot safer to do that, even though like I don't really have much protection. And we'll see how that kind of works out. But right now I have the Figurine of Power in play. Just another level 4 fighter. Gives +1/+8 attack, but that spend react is why I put it in here. The ability to cancel characters with stealth is really good. So we see from Sorscha, she equipped a Dithanus Mantle, which is kind of like a more balanced Helm of Undying. And we just see him, he put his character in the face down pile by accident. But who it is good old Dragon Lord Morgan de Danya. There we go. We just see her come out. He removed her from the game in order to bring back a Brine Fiend. So that right there kind of tips me off. Like, okay, he doesn't have the ranks to do really anything at this point. He can't really play characters. Right now he's played Meat. He's played Dithanus Mantle. And like, that's it. So I'm like, okay, let me just go. So I'm starting to work Gahid to the front. His starting army's pretty good. It's pretty unblemished at this point, but I really haven't done much other than kill that Brine Fiend and then have him recur it. But now Gahid's coming up to put some pressure on there. Switching out the Noble Steed for the Verdatha Mount. And then the Verdatha Mount is going to go ahead and take a shot. So he's Sorscha's announced that he's passing out. So Jerva says, like, I got no more actions. He's like, we're holding 4 cards in his hand. He's just like, keep going. So I'm just shooting right now. Just all right, how much damage can I do is basically what it is. I'm figuring, okay, most likely I'm able to take out 2 of these Brine Fiends and then go from there. If I get lucky, I still have the Battle Rhino that I'm probably going to equip, and then just basically bull rush to the front, try and pass a power attack and knock somebody for 2 wounds. We see right now what he's doing is using Sorscha's ability to go searching for a monster. When building for this event, I did have a Sorscha Morgan drop deck. And the one thing I noticed too is, in terms of quality monsters that you can get with her, it's pretty lacking. Antilus is the one we see. That is definitely the best one. 3 HP astral body or planar body. That is also your classes. So just a solid character. The other option is Devourer, which we'll eventually see. And then another one, which, spoiler, I can admit that Sorscha admitted that they are not running, is Sithisk. He's basically the only level 5 because he's a multi-class level 4. So you're able to search that out. But we see Gahid running up to the front, getting ready to do some strikes here. So going for a power attack check with that 5 ain't going to do it. So then that's probably just going to be a dead Brine Fiend. And then that'll be about it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I almost... No, that just hits. That's an 8 right on the nose. The dice rolls haven't been too great. But I retreat my Justinian just so I had... Because that's the one thing I'm like, I'm going to draw all level 4s. Like, that's what's definitely going to happen. So just to get ahead of that, I'm like, let me just tap back this Justinian. He does no use just sitting there in 2. Like, he's not going to come to the front and swing. I already kind of have enough on there. So now I'm waiting to see what he does with the hand, and he decides to keep 4. So I know the one card he's drawing is Antilus, because Antilus got put on top of the deck. So it's like, oh, I'm starting to put things together. He's able to play all those other cards once he has Antilus. So it's like, okay, I see... I'm kind of up against time here. I need to go faster. So what we see here is Lord Gahid not winning initiative, even with 2 dice. So that means he gets to drop the Antilus, putting me about an action behind, which is very unfortunate. So identifying that, I then was like, all right, Lord Gahid's got to swing. And I need to pass this power attack. So I'm ready to use my Justinians on this at this point. So the power attack check, luckily it's good. It's 10 up to hit. So able to get that now. Anything but a 1 to just explode Tyne Ruskin, which we do. Then just trying to put 1 more on the Brine Fiend, just so he really only has 1 action before. He's supposed to only have 1 action before ranks collapse, but I swing and a miss there. So... he's able to play his dragon, so I'm like, all right, I got to hit these 2 strikes now. No more 1s. So, luckily that 1 wasn't on the 2 wounder. But like, look at these rolls, like 1s and 3s on these strikes. Luckily, I got high bonuses. That 5 would miss, and I have to use Justinian adding 2 to get there. So, I'm able to make his ranks fall, which is huge. I haven't even played any cards in my hand yet, but if my sense was if he's holding 4, then he's going like 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, and that's it. But here we see Night Scale order up, and I'm going to make a big mistake. I should have used Exhaustion there, and then this game would have been over a lot faster. Kept that Night Scale back there in rank 4. He'd just be sitting there in Power Eye. Maybe he uses the Dithanus' Mantle to get back at level 2 to hold it. But I have looking at my hand, I have more than enough offense coming. So starting off, I go Corndrak into Black Snake Whip, which is an amazing card in Campaign Edition. Probably an amazing card like in any cavalry deck. It turns all your steeds into strikes. And if you're Deferinians, instead of +0s, it's you get a bonus of the dice equal to the level of the steed. So all those strike bonuses are coming out big. Because I have massive steeds on. And it's not once per turn either. So if I'm riding, I can still Black Snake Whip. It's really good. So we have Sorscha passing out. I get that Justinian back to 2. Having Corin sit in 3. She just needs to sit there with the Black Snake Whip for now. Lady Keithia comes in. I really like her tempo where she gets to strike right when she hits the front rank. And I'm like, all right, cool. We can get her up there. So she's swinging right away. What's going on, Gracchus? Yeah, the Alaron Black Snake Whip. Yeah, that's how I started off. I started off with Alaron, and then I was like, Gahid's kind of cooler. And it did offend me that the original walk art that is the Saga art wasn't in Untap. So I went and added that in there. I was like, if I'm going to run Gahid, I'm running the OG one. Deck. Yeah, there we go. 100 card deck, Gracchus. I appreciate that. So I get Lady Keithia to the front here. He did use the Dithanos Mantle to get rid of a Night Mist and just put more HP in his front rank, just trying to hold at this point. So Lady Keithia going to come up here and hopefully do some wounds just to kind of chew through. I do have still a lot of strikes. Lady Keithia's got her strikes. I got 2 steeds that are ready. And the figurine itself. So I'm able to put out a decent amount of offense here. So my thinking is let's clean up those non-planner guys and then hope to roll even when the time comes. Like Tyrant Ruskin too, he just kind of demands respect. Tyrant has to be removed right away because otherwise he just foils all plans. He's not hard to kill, but definitely an iconic character. So here we go. Black Snake Whip with the Battle Rhino. Putting another wound on Tyrant Ruskin. Then, yeah, so like looking at the math here, it looks like I'd be, even if I hit all my strikes, I'd be 1 strike short. So at this point, I'm cool here. And then like if I don't, like, I'm like, all right, if I hit 1, then that's good enough because I still get like, the idea is to just basically get 1 action to try and kill this thing. So I do get the 1 hit, which is good. So 2 more HP between me and his Warlord. So the idea is hopefully win initiative, swing, kill Antilus, and then that's essentially game. He's got that Night Scale back there who is most likely going to order up. And we see him chuck a black one. So like how I said, like his hand was probably 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever it is. So it was definitely a very scary hand. And I just came in to say, hey, I messed up my first turn terribly. Yes, you did. I don't think I would. Oh, you don't have to be nervous around me. Exactly. If Jerva, who's sitting here in the chat, if played his actions differently, if he used Sorscha's order to put Antlers on top and then meet at the end, then all those cards get played turn 1. And it's going to be a slobber knocker at that point. There's a whole lot of dragons that I'm chewing through. And I don't really get multi-wounding until turn 3 here. And even then, like as you can kind of see, I don't really have anybody to put that on. I didn't draw any characters with the Dragon Buckler. That old hand would have been awesome with the original card. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely would have been. So we see a Carcass Worm come in. So that's just more characters. Because, of course, Lord Gahid doesn't win initiative again. But Gahid's got to do the heavy lifting here. So he's going for a power attack, hoping that we just hit Antilus. And we do not. Good roll, but it's got to be even. So, no dice. But I do get 1 wound on him. So now it's which dragon's coming up to greet me. And Carcass Worm just going to go take a long fall up there. I think that makes sense. Night Scale's got to get up there spent. Carcass Worm has no way of doing that, so you might as well just go for that. Who we got? So I go with Mariah. It's like, okay. The big strike, I'm going to go with the dragon. I would have hit Antlers though, which is unfortunate, but able to use Justinian here to make sure that hits. I don't think I took the counter off. Yeah, I left the counter on there. I know there was a counter already on there, but it's a double Justinian to make sure that that hits. And then I try and take the smaller ones at Antlers. Like, that's what my thought is here and the play pattern I'm going for. So right now it's just kind of... Luckily, Sorscha's down to 2 cards only. But taking a look to see what else Sorscha's got cooking in that deck. Finds a Devourer. So that'll go to the top. Pretty good card. Definitely a solid meta card. And really, it's just in there just to secure rank 4. But also, like in a key matchup, that'll be huge. So Lady Keithia taking swings, just trying to hit that Antlers. And then that 2 just doesn't quite do it. That's an 8. Keithia has +1 attack for every Devil Running in the rank behind. I only have 3 back there. And then the Warhorse was 1, so the 2 did not do it. We see a meet at the end, which is a good risk that he takes because I just draw more steeds. This is the life of a cavalry deck right here. Luckily, that steed I'm able to kind of play out. I do have the Black Snake Whip, so these lower level steeds that I draw are just like extra strikes, which is good. So now I'm just trying to see who's attacking right now. I spend the Warhorse with the Black Snake Whip just to try and hit Antlers, and I get that even. So that'll do. So now it's just a big old carcass worm in the way. So like looking at this hand, like I obviously I wish I could get the Dragon Buckler, but I just can't. It's just not gonna happen. So my idea is just, all right, Corrin's going up there. She's got some big attack bonus. Hopefully she passes power attack with a Battle Rhino, and I'm able to put some damage on here. But we see the Devourer turn into an Antlers, so right off the board and then right on back. So 1 little hound, 2 little hound gets me right to the front. And the idea is, like, do I really need to do that with all these steeds in my hand? And my thought was, I'd rather spend the hound, which would give me a +0 melee strike, as opposed to spending a steed, which would give me like a +8, +15. Because it's base +0 with the Black Snake Whip. But then, like, all the other bonuses, for, like, not just the level, like, what's the actual steed? What's the actual weapon I have, which is Black Snake Whip? Like, all those bonuses get added. So that was the power attack check, that 8. It didn't succeed, so just swinging for 1 wound. Huge bonus there. That's swinging at, what, +14? Yeah. And then this next one's at +11. 28. That'll put another wound on there. And I haven't even played a card. Well, I played 1 card from my hand. I played the Battle Rhino. So, like, right here, Jerva's asking me, like, how living history works. Basically, like, he's like, hey, if I move Antlers front, can I put living history into play and then fix it on like a rank? Which you can. Because he was just kind of like, hey, is there any way I can just get this extra HP on here just to get it down? So that's what he went with. Just putting more things in the way. So we're spending the Battle Rhino for the Black Snake Whip. I'm here just always double checking. Like, I know I built the deck, but still it's like one of those, like, let me make sure I didn't misread Black Snake Whip like 800 times. Like, I get bonuses from the items, right? It's not once per turn, right? It's not only other characters get to do it, right? Like, so that was basically what I was doing, just making sure all those worked out. So, dead carcass worm. We see that Night Scale is now like, all right, I gotta move up, and Justinian's gonna make him super sleepy. Dragon gonna go take a nap on his horde. So that way, if I break ranks, which I most likely am going to by killing that 10 AC 1 HP living history, it's essentially stunning the Night Scale. So it just buys me another turn, and then I don't have to worry about any stealthing this turn. Like, I can just, any of my steeds I'm spending are all going, like, right at that thing. So then I don't have to worry about rolling evens yet. And then I'm just able to put some pressure on. So Gahid still up there leading the charge, commanding the Deverinian army. So it seems like I'm able to just kind of chew through here. Able to hit the Night Scale. I switch out the Warhorse for Griffin, just so I can get another strike with the Black Snake Whip. And this one's going to be at like +7. I'm just making sure. So I see like this is like 10 or better. It's around the same odds. Just try and kill it. But I would miss both of those targets anyway. So that's all I can do. It is an unfortunate hand that I'm chucking away 3 cards that I don't need. But this is the life of Cavalry. And that Just Idiot's doing more work. Running back to number 3. And then after that, end of turn 2, we got those 2 cards going away. Don't need that steed, don't need that figurine, but I'm like, let me hold this Dragon Buckler. Like, odds are I'm going to draw a character that can equip it the next turn. And it's like, just in case I start whiffing, I still have like the Hounds who are no longer under pressure. So any one extra steed is just going to do work. And I get exactly what I need. So whole lot of fun stuff between multiple Corins, the Iron Duke, who we'll see him do some work in game 2. A little spoiler alert there. And then Noble Steed, which is just great giving Deverinians riding. So double 11s and a 1. That's a lot of, that's 5 1s on these initiative rolls. So now it's a matter of, all right, how do I do this? Right now I play Corin Drac, react, and then I'm like, all right, where do I start my strike? I start swinging with Lady Keithia, not realizing that Mariah Blackthorn's melee strikes can't be canceled. So Mariah's the one who should be swinging at Night Scale right now, but I give him an extra stealth. He's able to cancel it because I'm an idiot. And then my second strike here luckily does the job. But definitely a misplay here. These kind of things happen normally with round 1. Me as a player, I usually don't play test very much. I think I got like 3 total games in with Gahid. Just because it's never worked for me. I know it's an oddity. A lot of people like to thoroughly play as many games as they can, try and maximize and constantly edit the deck. Just that whole exercise, to me, it's exhausting. It just kind of breaks me down. And then by the time I get to the games, like, sure, I might know the deck better, but like I'm just kind of bored and worn out. And like I do better. Like it's almost like I've always equated it to like, I guess like in baseball and pitching. Like the pitcher never like wants to waste the pitches. It's like if I'm going to start playing this, like that, like once a pitcher starts throwing the ball, like they have to keep going until they hit like whatever, like 100 pitches or whatever it is, and then they're done. But if there's like a long delay in the middle of that, or if you throw too much early on, you're kind of taken out of the game early. That's kind of how my mind works, as weird as it is. So like, I'm just kind of like, I'd rather just save it for later on. I also find it just to be more fun. And generally speaking, when I'm doing things that are when I'm playing decks that I find more fun, I usually just do better. Just a general rule of thumb for me. But here we see Jerva's like, all right, I can't play any other characters. Sorscha's coming up. So it's a Sorscha Gahid front rank duel. Gahid tries to power attack, is not able to do it. And can't even hit with that first strike. Just intimidated by the light bulb lady. So only hit for 1 wound, and then she swings back. The second strike doesn't do it. And just for the sake of time, because I know time's a matter here, I'm just like, all right, let's just swing it over. Otherwise, I could do fun things like pass and just let Gahid swing again. But I didn't want to just, like, in some cases, that could be seen as, like, bad manners. I definitely don't want to do that either. So it always is skating a fine line of let's do something cool. Especially when I'm on stream. Like, I want to show you guys some funny things. And, like, hey, let's kind of laugh about it. But, like, at the same time, someone's losing a game. So, like, it could be, like, you know, just poor form to do something like that. So I usually don't risk doing it. Unless it's like if it's Midge, then I'll do it. Like, me and Midge have that kind of bond. Like, we've played cards with each other for multiple decades. We've called each other every single name that you could possibly think of. Things that will probably get me banned on Twitch. Like, that's just how it is. So, like, when we do it, it's just kind of like, all right, gloves off, and we do it. And we understand that it's done at a jest and not as a meaning of disrespect. So, because disrespect is our way of joking. But here, game 2, Jervis, we're going to have a little bit of downtime here. Jervis just like had to run away for a sec. So I'm sitting here just kind of getting things set up, but feeling pretty good. I paused the timer. Once Jervis gets back, I do kind of start the timer about a minute late. So when that happens, I also see if anyone's spectating, which nobody was. I was like, okay. Because I didn't announce it. I didn't announce that we were playing this game because obviously I wanted you guys to watch it stream. But that, and also just the VOD. So that's kind of what I did. But waiting for Jervis to get back, and I start the clock about a minute late. We'll see that coming up in a bit. So when that happened, it's just kind of like, let me make a mental note. So it's like, if it comes down where like a minute matters in the time, then it's kind of like, all right, I'll just kind of call it. Like, you know, I just kind of keep that in mind and make sure that that's like in effect. But all right, we see Jervis back now. We're seeing everybody shuffle decks. So we're getting game 2 started with Gahid up 1. Gonna hope for an equally bad hand game 1. But if Jervis had played it differently, that would have been a much different game. So who knows how that would have played out. A whole lot of dragons, but like I did have enough offense at least. But it would have been very different though to see. So now we hope it's a different game 2. So as you can see, we're kind of starting it, and like I still have yet to like hit that timer. Like we shuffled, we drew, we rolled initiative, and then like I'm sitting here looking at this hand, and like, oh, what the fuck do I do with this? So this right here, folks, is the dangers of playing cavalry. I draw 2 pair of, I get 2 Warhorse, 2 Verdatha Mount, and a Nodwick. So, I opt to just, let's put that Warhorse on Gahid. Let's, and, like, here in the audio, you hear Jervis say, come on up, and, like, I'm like, nope. I'm just sitting back, because I was hoping I was going to draw 4. Or just, either way, with those Verdathas, I know I'm going to use those for shots. That's what I want to do. But then I get a bit at the end. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a character. Nope. Here's the 3rd Warhorse. Get out of here. I was like, this is like worst case scenario. I was like, oh, I just got to hope that he can't play any characters. Like that's basically it. So when I see this, I'm like, all right, I just need to do as much offense as I can. So I'm not going to use those hounds to push forward. I have enough movement. My goal right here is like, let's put as many wounds on that front rank as I can. We see him starting with a Figurine of Wonder, which is, that's not good. It's got a 4, so can play all these things. Cavalry is horse. Calvary is Golgotha, I think. Whatever. You want me to call it Cav? What do you want me to Calvary? Cavalry? Nuclear? Whatever it is. Horsies. We're playing horsies. We're playing dev horsies. So I moved the Justinian back. We still see these Brine Fiends trying to take out these puppers. And I'm ready to use that Justinian just to kind of protect them. So, switch out that Verdatha Mount for a 2nd Warhorse. And then I also have Nodwick in here, which does come into play. In terms of just kind of recycling steeds. More so the Nodwick I have in there is to recur figurines if I need to. Or if, like, one of those characters gets a Dragon Buckler, goes to the front, dies. I'll use the Nodwick and just put it on Gahid. Or even then, like depending on when I draw that Nodwick, I'll put that Nodwick on like a Koran Drac and just have them fetch a steed that they need, or fetch the weapon that they need, fetch a Black Snake Whip. Like all those kind of things are what that Nodwick is in there for. But we see the Antilus. Didn't even have to use the ability. I spent that Warhorse to gain 2 attack. And then I switch it out for good old Verdatha mount. So I'm like really like, we see a dragon. Oh, we got the dragon dig down. When did that come in? That came out a few actions ago. Dragon's Lair came out. So he's got a lot of HP, and he's kind of set up. And I'm feeling very bummed about this hand because it's just, I don't think I can do enough damage. We see Sorscha search for that Devourer. Goes to the top of the deck. With all those items in that Nodwick, that's going to factor in. But Gahid trying to use the Horsey to spit at Brine Feed. Almost miss, but Justinian's here. I debated with myself on whether I should do Justinian or Acolyte Dora. For this deck, I thought, let me go Justinian. One, it's different, because I always play Dora. 2, I'm concerned about Spell Blitz in Campaign Edition being very prevalent, so I wanted to make sure I had Justinian. Just in case. It's just harder for those spells to hit me. But a very key thing is I am not running Contest Thy Title in this deck, which is usually a very common card in a dev deck like this. But for me, it was one of those, I don't really need it to win, and when I fail it, it's backbreaking. It just absolutely crushes me and just hurts so bad. And that even happened in playtesting. I was playing, like Bobby was playing a Yeskar the Elder deck, and like I Contest Thy Title, and I'm like plus 19 versus his 6, and I lose. And it's like, oh well, I'm just dead. Like it was the most feel bad thing. And then I was like, do I really need this? And so I don't run it, especially because I know there's at least one other dev player in the field, good old Gracchus, but devs are really good in campaign. So I figured I was gonna see a few of them. So I was like, dev on dev, I don't really get as much bonus as I could. So I was like, let me take it out. But if I was rolling 2 with contests and I was starting Acolyte Dora, then that card kind of comes in here. That's fine. But I used one of the hounds to pull me up just so the Verdatha mount could shoot at that back rank. But I have also the other 2 puppers start to swing. They take out the Tyrant Ruskin. They do what they got to do. And then Gahid's like, all right, who can I take out? I'm like, right here, what I'm thinking, though, is I look at this board. It's like, I don't want to actually kill anything. I just want to put 2 wounds on the board because I don't want that Antilus stunning up. Like, I know I have nothing more after this. So I put a wound on the figurine, and then I'm like, all right, let me wound Brine Fiend, and then just kind of leave that there since Sorscha's just passing. So I get that done. And then we're going to use the mount to just spit some horse spit at that Tyrant Ruskin, which I do. I thought about, like, I don't really think I can shoot the egg at that point, so I don't. So I'm like, let me just put it on there. And now Sorscha's like, all right, cool. After you do Verdatha mount, I got some actions. So he drops the Nodwick. A little upset that I didn't kill that Figurine of Wonder. So it's like, oh man. He was like waiting for it and was slow playing it for that reason. And then he courages from Faith. So he was really hoping that I killed that figurine, was able to Nodwick on the figurine, and then was going to courage from Faith on Antilus. Like that was everything that he was hoping for, and was kind of like that. But luckily for me, I did not make that mistake. I kind of just read the board. I'm like, I don't want to do this. So it paid off. Minor victories for turn 1 with this awful hand. And then I look at this turn 2 hand, and it's even worse. There is one card I can play at this point. I could play the Griffin, but that's a downgrade from the Verdatha mount. I can't play Gedmorak. It's a level 5 character. Black Snake Whip, level 8 item. So exhaustion is the only thing I can do. I look at this, and at this moment, looking at 58 minutes on the clock, is like, do I just scoop and go to game 3? Or do I try this out? Let's see where this goes. So for now, I'm like, let me hang in here. Let's see. I don't really know how it's going to play out. Like, I'm just very worried. But to me, like, at this point, 58 minutes is also a lot of time on the clock. So go, like, just scooping here, it's kind of like the only thing we would do is ensure that we are coming to a conclusion. And then I also got to think now, like, if I'm going to win, I'm probably going to win in like 20 minutes. Like, I won game 1 like 27 minutes, whatever it was. So I'm thinking that if I leave that, that's just a possibility where I want to make sure that if we're going to game 3, that Sorscha's going to need a lot of time to beat me. I'm like, if I'm in like the 25-minute range, that's like the sweet spot in my mind. I'm thinking like, okay, need to consider this like 25 minutes. If like things are still going really bad, then I kind of do that. But I wanted to kind of see how everything plays out, of course, too. The idea here is to play Warlord, so I try to avoid this, but it's just something you have to keep in mind. Excuse me. Sorry about that. That sneeze came up. But right now, I'm just... All right, Gahid and Hounds. This is all I got. So start doing things. He's got the Devourer in play. Grakashu had Shire steal the contested title from Duty. I did see that happen. And that feels bad because that Duty was double Arla boosted. I don't remember what the bonuses are, but even then it's still pretty scary doing it against a dev. But here, like, I'm just taking a shot. Like, I don't really see... Like, I know I'm already almost out of actions. And he's only like, played 1 card from hand so far, which is just the Devour. But I'm kind of like waiting to see where this goes. Like, if things look okay, that's fine. But he switches out the Nodwick for the Living History. And I didn't even realize at first that the Nodwick got discarded because they're both familiars. So you cannot recur Living Histories with Nodwicks. But we see him playing into ranks. The Devourer spends back from 4 to 5, and a Living History fixes. That's a great part about Living History. It does get you that extra rank, and we see a slew of dragons coming in. We got Blackwind and Night Mist. So the Dragon Ranch is here. I'm not really feeling too good, honestly. Very much considering scooping, but I ultimately do not. So Blackwind's starting to make his way up, and he's kind of got 5 ranks now. They're kind of solid, backed by some dragons, one of which is a Planner Dragon, which is really unfortunate. Night Mist not really great in the offensive output, but as a defensive dragon, it's really great. The level 7 dragon that I like the most is Terror Shard. But definitely only Ancient's legal. Ashrain was also very good. That was definitely a Saga and a 4E dragon for sure. I remember there was a tournament at a Gen Con one year when 4E was out. And it was called the God Hand Tournament. Where you play your deck, but you get to choose your starting 5 hand. So it was a really interesting format. And what I did was I did Brimmin of the Marshes, Deveranian, just front rank fighter. But I went, my first 5 cards were to drop dragons and put Ashrain into play. I went like level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. And then I forgot what the other card was. It might have been a way to kind of get Ashrain up there. I can't remember. But that's what I did. And then the rest of it was, all right, it's just a Brimmin, like, fighter rush front rank deck. So it was like I start with this massive army, and then I come back with some aggressive fighter thing. And it worked out. I did really well that event. I think I might have won it, actually. It was many, many moons ago, though. And there was one of those where there wasn't a cut. It was just kind of 4 rounds of Swiss or whatever. Whoever finishes there, and you get prizes. So I think I won that event. I don't know. It was ages ago. Nearly a decade ago. So Devourer right now is just eating some steeds. Just because Nodwick exists. But other than that, that's really all we got. So it's a little rough. But I'm just like, yep, throw this hand completely away. I didn't even use the exhaustion to cancel the Devourer, which I should have did. Because I'm just sitting there like, what is with this hand? So I'm like, there's got to be characters in this next hand, right? Like, yes? Potentially? And I get nothing but characters. So, another 2 pair. So, Untapped did not shuffle very well. It's just one of those, like, you just kind of, nothing you can do. It's like, alrighty. I did the plus no response because I messed up trying to get a die roll. But, I don't have much offense right now. I do like Jeffrey Drack though. Like when I see Jeffrey Drack again, scooping is still in my mind. Do I scoop? When do I scoop? Like all that is still kind of going there, but I'm like, let me see where this goes. So, and that'll be a common theme. Let's see where this goes. So Corin just comes in and just throws herself up to the front. Then I lose a pupper, which is very unfortunate. He usually doesn't have enough offense at all to kind of put pressure on me. But here he does. So I get another Corin in. Another step forward. That's, all right. Let me just play these guys. I figure Gahid's got like one more turn safely in rank 1 before we might have to run away like the coward he is. So here we see Sorscha trying to put in Night Scale with Bribe, Summon Ally, and the Dragon Egg. But he wasn't sure, like, does he have to fix that 3rd rank beforehand? Because then he's like, I don't want to stun Blackwind. I don't want to move up Sorscha. So, like, we're sitting here talking about how that works out. Letting him know that he would have to fix ranks with the Dragon Egg before he puts it in. So he's sitting there like, all right, cool, hold on. I'll just take everything back. Let me just order up with Blackwind first. And then after that, I'll be good to do what I want to do. So Blackwind orders. And Night Mist, who doesn't have an order to move forward, just has the spend order to move 2 ranks. Just stuns up there. So he's got no problem. He's got time right now because I just don't have enough force on that front rank. But I play Jeffrey Drack, who I'm like, all right, if over time I can build up, maybe I draw some Dragon Bucklers next turn, which I haven't seen any yet out of 17 cards, whatever. So I'm like, there's got to, with 3 Dragon Bucklers and a Monkey's Paw in this deck, I'm like, I'm going to get something like that eventually. So if I set it up where I get a whole bunch of fighters with some steeds and like maybe a Black Snake Whip, and I can get a Jeffrey Drack going, I'm like, maybe I can turn the tide. So like that's kind of where I'm playing towards right now. But we get that Night Scale who's going to come up and start asserting their dominance. So I'm like, no steeds. The Hound is probably who he's swinging at. So I'm just having the pupper just take a strike right now while I can. So now he's sitting here thinking what else he's going to do. 2 more cards. So Devour's eating some of these other cards. Just anything that I can play. Definitely the Black Snake Whip, like making sure if Gahid gets all the way back there that's not an option. So 2 steeds in that. And that's the problem with drawing all those steeds up front with no characters. You have to chuck those steeds. Those are steeds that could be used on these characters that I'm playing right now, but it's just a really awkward draw. Mariah Blackthorn. Really solid campaign edition card. I think she was a promo at first. Then she was reprinted in 40. I remember her being a chase card. So she takes a dive. I'm like, let me get her to the front. It's like if he wants to spend those strikes on Night Mist with Night, or spend those strikes with Night Scale, he goes right ahead. I'm fine with that. But dropping some more Mariahs, getting them to the front just so that they can kind of hold ranks. Because that's also what I'm thinking too now. Like with the whole scooping scenario, like could he even kill me? Like I at this point with just those dragons, I'm like, Night Scale is the only thing I'm worried about. Black Red and Night Mist ain't gonna do anything. Antlers is kind of annoying, but I can cancel 2 strikes a turn with Mariah's. So I'm like, this is gonna be all right. And Corrin's got 3 HP, so it's starting to feel good here. And I'm like, if Gahid's sitting in that front rank, kind of distracts him, I'm okay with it. So we see Night Scale. That was an attack on Gahid. So I used the 17 is right on the dot. I used the Justinian just to avoid a wound, and then that second strike misses. So that's like best case scenario. That Night Scale just swung and whiffed. Whole lot of nothing. So here I'm like, Gahid's done enough. Again, just seeing next turn as being rough, and I see an opportunity to get Mariah up there. I'm like, let me just do it. So Mariah goes on up. Justinian gonna help get a free move for Corrin Drac. So those will be spent in the front rank next turn. And then Jeffrey gonna go take a step forward. So now if I get a steed with the hound, I can get like Jeffrey to the front next turn. I don't think I would, but it's just kind of like setting that up really. So the mount spits at that figurine, and then I Justinian just to hit it. So Gahid's still doing some damage. He's just of the range strike variety at this point. So turn ends. Mariah's are online, which I love. They're doing things. His army's still pretty scary. No cards, so he's drawing a new 5. And then I get some stuff I can see. The only problem again, Dragon Buckler and figurine, it's still again it's an awkward draw. No level 4, so can't put that in unless I spend Corrin back, which is something I'm very much considering as soon as I see that hand. So Gahid wins initiative. I'm just rolling both dice even if I win on the first roll. I'm just like, let me just use that die roll. So I start off with the Iron Duke. I didn't want to just use that Griffin right there on Corrin. I'm like, she's just only really going to do 1 wound at this point. So I was like, let me get the Iron Duke up there. That's fine. In this case, if he kills that hound, he kills that hound. So that's what happens. Now, I also wanted that Corrin to go back too. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let me get the Iron Duke there. I could have got Joffrey up there, but he's got a lot of offense between Night Scale and Blackwind. Rushing Jeffrey up there would be bad. I don't want to have Gahid fall, and I don't want to lose any of my Justinians. So I thought Iron Duke right there was the right play, and just hoping he missed the hound, which he didn't. Never know. Could roll it too. We've seen worse. Corrin steps back, and then he plays me at the end. Which gets me where I'm like, oh, am I going to draw that 4 now? But no, I get another Iron Duke. But I do like me some Iron Duke. Built-in Nothrog daggers without the attack bonus. But Iron Duke's a good card. Especially when there's a lot of mid-range in this environment. A lot of level 4 ranching decks. So Iron Duke will get some mileage. We see a Dragon Lair as his first card after Maddie. And I go Dragon Buckler. And then he sees my dragon, raises me a dragon. Carcass Worm comes in. Iron Duke comes down. He's sitting there thinking on some things and some stuff. So whenever I have an opponent sitting here like thinking like Jerva is right now, I'm always trying to figure out what they're thinking as well. So I see the Dragon Egg into a Deathwing, so which comes into play in rank 7. So at this point, I don't think he has Morgan then, because if he had a way to put Morgan in, he could always just Dragon Egg plus like a bribe or a summon ally and then drop that. But then he still goes summon allies, puts Morgan in. So a little bit of a mistake on his part. Could have dropped Morgan in 7, then dropped Deathwing in 3. So just a little minor misplay on his part. But Morgan, the Dragon Lord, has arrived. And this is like, yeah. I believe she's a dragon herself, right? Do Dragon Lords count as dragons? I believe they do. Because they are both dragons and lords. I think so. That's a good question, though, Jerva. I always remember that being the case. I'm pretty sure Tanning Knife... Yeah, Morgan isn't a dragon. Are you sure, though? Because I could have sworn... Like, I remember with Drax and Roll, you could run them as a 6-man fighter blitz because Draxon could ready itself. I remember an old ruling where Dragon Lords were both dragons and lords. It probably has been lost to time, and if we ask Vic right now, I would say she's not a dragon. But like Dragon Lord being its own thing. But I do remember that ruling from AEG. But what a lame game. Yeah, I know, right? See, this is a Dragon Lord challenge right now. Drasic is a dragon. Look, okay, Drasic has nothing to do with this there, Gracchus. But I'm talking about the AEG ruling. Because again, when in those funky tournaments where like a Dragon Lord tournament, where you run a Dragon Lord as your Warlord, you could run 6-man Drax and Roll. And I know one challenger ran Drax and Roll as a front rank fighter that can ready himself. But Altus is the best to do that in. There's Altus doing sneaky things. IMO. And then someone's going to be like, Drasic the Resplendent. It's like, yeah, well, crazy things happened in 4E. Especially towards the end of 4E. Arn was just like, let me put some really bad things into play and be fine with it. See, okay, cool. Shield, you remember that, right? That Dragon Lords were considered dragons, right? Like I'm not making that up. You remember that too? I know we're testing some brain cells here. But I have Morgan in play, or I have Morgan on the other side against me. Starting to put in those dragon tokens. Yeah, see? Okay. Shields does remember this too. I'm sitting here like, all right, I'm kind of building up things. I got another Dragon Buckler for Gahid. So I'm like, all right, I got some multi-wounding here against these dragons. It's like, can I outpace Morgan? The other thing that I'm considering is just that I don't think he has any other dragons. Now I need to know if she's considered a dragon. Jerva, definitely ask it in Discord. See if we get a different ruling. I know me as an Overlord, I'm like, yes, they were both a Dragon Lord. I do remember that ruling. But then Vic might come in and be like, no, Dragon Lord's its own thing. It's not a dragon. So if that happens and like Josh does that too, then you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, history is forgotten, so people make their own history. Well, there isn't really a reason to run Drasic over Morgan, Screams, or over Celine. Well, I don't know which Drasic you're talking about, because there's like 700 Drasic. Well, I think there's like 4 different versions. Because Drasic got the Corteth treatment. I do remember that. Josh will say go for it. I mean, it depends. With Josh, you're either gonna like, yeah, sure, shrugs, or you get a no, you can't. I don't know, you just can't, shrugs. Either way, you're getting shrugged at. So he's starting to build up these dragons, but I'm setting up. I'm getting like Jeffrey up there. I'm like, all right, Jason characters have defend. I'm going to Jeffrey next turn and see what I can do. Thank you, Shields. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by, man. So I'm sitting up here. Those Mariahs got defend too, so they can cancel the strikes. So I'm like, all right. I think Jeffrey's okay. Even if Jeffrey takes 1 wound, I'm still good. But I'm just kind of setting my board up. I'm like, looking at the time again. 36 minutes. Do I really believe I can chew through this dragon army? Will this Khorne direct to the front and do some damage next turn? Will these characters be able to do some damage on that front rank after I Jeffrey Drac? And I'm like, let's see what we can do. So Khorne took a wound. Then tried to go second strike at Khorne. Then I realized, all right, she still has defend. And let me just go ahead and use the defend for Mariah and cancel it. So Khorne can take that wound. That's fine. But we have more devouring happening. So right now he does that devouring, and then it's just a matter of setting up the ranks. Like let's get these dragons forward. I think I said this just a little while ago, but in case I only thought it and didn't actually speak it out, because again, this stream is just me rambling, as most of my streams usually are. But I see just about every dragon that could possibly be in Campaign Edition on the board. So I'm like, I don't think there's any more dragons in the deck. I think this is everything. So I'm like, Morgan's out here. Maybe there's a chance you run 2x of one of the dragons. Like, that's fine. So I'm like, I think I just have to chew through tokens. And like the rest is just like filler cards at this point. So I'm like, I'm okay with this. So I felt like I could chug through it at this point. So we're going to try with 35 minutes on the clock. So going to the next turn. Not too thrilled with this hand. This would be a good turn, one hand. But couple Dossets and a Lord Argon. Only 1 steed. Won't get Khorne to the front rank, so I'm worried here. But I win initiative. And then I immediately go for the Jeffrey Drac. So he takes a walk. And I am now time stopped. So now I'm like, all right, how do I best do this? How do I get... The idea is just put as many wounds on that army as I can. And then hope he has nothing. So when I have a lot of time, I sit here and kind of think around it. But I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. Again, I still forget that Mariah's strikes can't be canceled. So Corrin just swinging at Night Scale and just letting him get a free stealth, which is just dumb. But it is what it is. But Corrin doesn't do anything. Mariah then tries to take out this Night Scale. Wounds it. Second strike. I think I'm going for Antilus. Yeah, I'm going for Antilus because I'm going to double Justinian and add that wound on there. So using 2 of those right away kind of feels bad, but I'm like, let's see what happens. So then Mariah takes a swing, whiffs, and then whiffs again. So not looking too great. Not the offensive juggernaut that I was hoping for. But play a Dorset, take a dive. Play a Dorset. Drop the Lord. And then it's like, all right, I gotta just work those guys to the front because I also see it as that's like 9 more HP between me and those dragons because that's also 32 minutes. I'm like, it's a lot of wounds that needs to happen. But I put the Noble Steed on Iron Duke and get him up there in the front. I want him swinging. I'm a little bummed I lost to Justinians because now he has like that Iron Duke has no attack bonus, but it is what it is. So the Lord goes up there. Dorset takes a step up. Corrin's going to put in a figurine just to get some more HP in between. Oh, Trevor, you're saying you weren't sure if Night Scale should stealth in or not? Yeah, it is one of those things where you could go in and then go after me, which not a lot of risk, but that luckily, like again, Jeffrey Drack happens before that, and then Iron Duke is able to take out Night Scale and hit Antilus. Like Iron Duke is MVP at this point. Like the good thing that Night Scale can do while stealth in is just start pushing everybody back. I hope you pop Argon tonight. He's the best counterattack dev. Argon was really good, yeah. So I go up to the front, switch out to Verdatham for the Battle Rhino that was on Jeffrey Drack. I put the figurine into play and then just spend it up just to have another character up there. And then this also kind of leaves it open to where like Gahid could Battle Rhino forward, pass a power attack, do something for 3 wounds. So like I want to keep that open. And like I'm like, maybe I tap back, but I'm like, I don't have to worry about that right now. I can kind of just sit there. And like that's the thing about Jeffrey Drack. Like you can declare done, but that doesn't mean your turn's completely done. So I was like, let me leave Gahid there, and if I really need to come forward and swing, I will. But that 20 is a wasted on a Iron Duke riding check. So now it's the Dragon's turn. Dragon's gonna start swinging. So Blackwind starts with breathing on that front rank. A lot of people are down on Blackwind's spend order. I love it. Like, especially in CE, like it was doing that spend order was always worth it. Because right now it's like, all right, you can get you really should calculate it. Like, are you going to get more than 2 wounds out of it? Like, because Blackwind can probably just swing and do 2 wounds. But when you have like a massive swarm like this, just cleaning that up is very nice. And here we see just he got 4 wounds out of that spend order, just on bad rolls. Then his figurine. I think he's going to attack Mariah, I believe. If I remember this correctly. Yep, I'm putting the counter on Mariah. I'm like, +4? That's high enough to be worried, so I cancel that. And then he tries to throw that living history at the other one, and I say, let's risk it for the biscuit. And I get that biscuit. We're good. Reminder, folks, too, for everybody watching. At the end of this, we will be giving away a pack of Counterattack to the audience as well. So just a heads up and a reminder of that once this match is over. But then also, I owe a pack to Jerva. So, Jerva, I don't know if you're still hanging out here. We'll crack open a pack in your honor as well. Trying to drink this water, but not like make the swallowing noise go into the mic. I don't want ASMR. That's a different stream, guys. Sorry. The only thing you get here is dragons flapping wings and roaring and horsies neighing. So I see another carcass word. I'm like, oh no, it's multiples of dragons. So Mariah goes down, losing her. Very worrisome. Corrin goes down. So like his offense is pretty much there right now. So he's feeling pretty good. And this is usually the downside of Jeffrey Drack. You really got to get your money's worth. It gives you the opportunity, but if you don't do anything with it, like it just the comeback is brutal. So I lose both Mariahs, which is really sad. But all things considering, my ranks are pretty stable. That's a lot of 3 HP characters. So turn ends. I look at that. 26 minutes. I'm like, I might be able to outlast this. Even staring down all those dragons, I'm like, it's a lot of HP. I'm swinging back. I see a handful of stuff. I see a monkey's paw with a Lady Keithia. I'm like, I might be able to get this off. So I'm in it. I'm like, let's play Warlord, guys. Let's not do strategic scoops. Let's go for it. So Corrin's going to take some strikes. I'm like, all right, where can I do the most damage? So she hits someone. She hit Deathwing. Oh, no, I said Blackwind. Jerva put it on Deathwing, though. But Corrin did good. Put 2 wounds on it. Yeah, so that was the confusion right now. We were just talking about. It's like, no, I was going for Blackwood. He did 4 wounds to me last turn. I want to get rid of him. So Blackwood returns, tries to go at that Iron Duke, and that Iron Duke just pounds his chest, saying, I ain't going down. You can't touch me. Look at that. That traitorous dwarf. The Duke is a menace, baby. So now he's trying to see where he can go. And he's backed by some Justinians right now. So I'm just trying to figure out, all right, which one can I possibly kill? So I'm sitting here looking like Carcass Worm 19 AC. Deathwing has 20. I was like, whatever. Duke will just swing and just see what we can do. But the Duke just doesn't have the offense. He's too busy tumbling away from those Blackwind strikes. So he's not able to kind of get that punch back. But the little dragon token taking out Corrin Drac, sending Dawson up there, hoping Planner is a pain in the ass. And then that second strike on Iron Duke, that's a 14. So I'm like, Justinian, time for you to reduce some wounds. So Figure Power, where are we going with you? You got a +8, which is pretty good. So he swings and he hits whatever it is. So I hit Deathwing. I'm like, why not? Let's go for there. Deathwing only has 4 HP, which is weird. Deathwing really should have had 5. But Dorset, I'm just like, let me just go forward there. Blackwind comes down, and then I'm like, another Blackwind. So, seeing 2 Carcass Worms, seeing 2 Blackwind, he's like, oh no, he plays multiple dragons. Which is not what I was hoping for. If I knew that, it was kind of like, all right, when you see Morgan, you scoop. Because the idea is that I thought that that was every single dragon that he had. There weren't any more other than the tokens coming. I'm like, I can withstand all that. But when you see extras of Blackwind, extras of Carcass Worm, like that's when it's like, oh, this is gonna be rough. But the Halo's there. Halo stops any more of the Dragon Breath BS, which is good. So Iron Duke, it's another strike at Iron Duke, and it misses. Still tumbling, but he eventually goes down. He's still an absolute menace. Very happy that Iron Duke is in my deck. So Corrin gets the Corrin with the Dragon Buckler gets the Noble Steed. Gonna try and get to the front there and put some pressure. Hopefully she just attacks and kills a dragon. And that's kind of my hope. Every attack, hopefully I'm just trading. No Throgs. Terrible card game, I know. I thought we wanted to take a break from Nothrogs this time, so I did not run. I could have run Uthamunk. So I did not run... I did not run Nothrogs this tournament. There aren't that many either. Artek's running around, but that's really about it. Which is sad, but you know what? In Ancients, Nothrogs are still unbelievably good. So it won't be the last time we see Nothrogs, I promise you. See, I love seeing some bias there, Salty Lock. Thanks for tuning in, bud. So I'm still kind of holding on. These Dawsets are going down, though. That's the only thing I'm worried about at this point. I was like, hopefully that planner, like, they just, no, whiff, whiff, whiff. But nope. Dawset just getting pummeled on. Lady Keithia gets the Monkey's Paw. So that she can hopefully just start putting out 8 wounds when she gets to the front rank. Yeah, exactly. That's what our tech does. So I see Argon going up there. Sorscha is still making some dragon tokens. So it's kind of a pain. 20 minutes on the clock. I'm like, kind of like my position still. So I'm like not worried. Lord Gahid's still sitting there anxious. He wants to go to the front, but you know, the second he does, he's dead. So he's just sitting there waiting. Gahid has no problem dying for the storm, but here we see Jerva try to use Blackwind Spend Order on all the dragons, but I used the Halo to cancel it. Even though he was going to start with the orders of the targets with the figurine, which is a non-Deverinian, it targets everybody, and then you resolve each one. So Halo's able to cancel the whole action. So Halo just turned off a dragon for a turn, which was good. But then that Dawson goes down. So usually when you see people rolling 2s, you're like, oh, this is great, right? No, 2s and 6s are hurting me. That 6, though, was on Argon, so luckily that missed. Night Mist looks like the last big dragon. Puts a wound on Argon and puts 2 on there. I didn't pass the riding check with Corrin Drac a few actions ago, so I just slowly take the step up there. Justinian's working his way up. Morgan just kind of sitting there, constantly calling the dragons from the mountains. Did he ever use the Night Mist spend order on me? No, I don't believe so. That is a way to kind of burn out my gas, yes. Gahid's got pretty good skill, though. 7 skill? Not bad. Oh, and here we see a funny interaction. Jerva, who, by the way, fresh off of a 4-month break, only played, I think played Seraph in the online World Championships, played 2 games and dropped, so hasn't been playing much in a while. Plays I Call Forth Valor. Basically, name a character, look at your top 15 cards, put that into play. His deck is currently at 12 cards, so it's basically search your deck for this card and put it into play. So he names Night Mist and puts Night Scale into play. I go, you didn't really name that one. So he's like, oh, shit. So this is a weird situation where it's like, again, tournament game. Like, I mean, this is an online tournament, but like a game for keeps over here. That might be one where like if this is MTG Pro Tour, I go, Jerva, you said Night Mist. Night Mist is an existing card. You can't put Night Scale into play. But I was like, I asked, do you have another Night Mist even in your deck? He goes, no. I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to assume that you're good enough to know what's in your deck and know that Night Scale was the one you meant that you had an extra copy of. So I was like, let's just do that. That's fine. Salty Lock. Oh, it's been 2 years since you played with us on tap. It's always time to come on back. If you ever get bored, don't ever feel shy. Don't ever feel intimidated. Just always dive back in. Community's really chill here. Jerva is an example here. Like, took a couple months off and was like, let me come back. Says he was nervous playing against me, but you don't have to be nervous playing against me. But with my elf loving Ruby. There you go. Random, like the physical decks. Oh yeah, so those physical decks are good, man. Yeah, the UI is a little weird. There you go. Lurking's still cool. Happy you're watching the stream for sure. So even if you're not playing, as long as you're watching, I appreciate the support either way. But whenever you get that itch, it's there. You are free to scratch. So here we go. We're at the 15-minute mark. I see my hand. I see the Black Snake Whip, the second one that I have. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. So maybe I can get Corn in there. I get some extra offense. But then I looked at the board and I'm like, I don't really have a lot of steeds anymore because I drew them all turn 1 and 2 and threw them all away. So a little worried about it, but I think 15 minutes, this dragon, like, maybe he starts missing, his dice go cold, and then I'm good. Just this turn, I think if I survive this, like, that's it. But these dragons are determined to start munching their way through my ranks. I did draw 6 extra HP here right now. Corrin came in. Get Dawson is in my hand, is going to get down there. But down goes Corn Track in the front. So didn't get to kill a dragon. You just need to find a physical tournament that's a day trip distance. Salty Lock, I'm not sure where you are located, but November 19th in New Jersey, central New Jersey. If that is a day trip for you, there will be an event in Howell, New Jersey. Details are posted in the Discord group. I eventually will get details on this stream, but we are having an Ancients tournament. Fat Trucker's ready to go. Sarcock's ready to go. You are more than welcome if that's a day trip, depending on where you are in the country. Or if you're even in this country. You very well could be across the sea. Or even south. We got a lot of presents. Western So that's as a WNC. I'm assuming that's Western North Carolina. Okay, yeah, that's a hike, but 8-hour hike, 6-hour hike. That's a long day. Well, let's see what we got. All right, so I have Lady Keithia getting a Verdatha mount. It'll get her to the front, but then that's it. It's not getting her to the front ready, so I only get one strike from it. A little bummed by that, but my ranks are starting to dwindle. I'm like, these good Dossets are really what I'm banking on right here, just to save me time wise. We're looking at just under. Well, we're looking like 12 and change left. So we are picking up the pace too, just to play. That's just like matters in my opinion. Like, if I really was like a filthy tryhard and really wanted to win this game, like by any means necessary, I could probably like just take a little more time on my actions, start asking questions, take actions that take a longer time to resolve, adding bonuses and things like that. Like, I could play to that and stall out this last 12 minutes. Do so legally within it, because I'm still going through the motions of doing my actions. Just, I'm in no rush. But as we saw in the Online World Championship, like, Gracchus had the option to do that against me too. Chose not to. It's kind of a, an honor thing that I respect, and I wouldn't do it here either. The idea is these online tournaments are all about playing Warlord, right? So we came here to play, so I didn't come here to dance around. Some people would, and that's totally fine too. Every right to everyone to do that, but I didn't feel right doing that, so I was like, I'm just going to play at a nice, steady pace. Here to Trenton, 10 and a half. Oh, yeah, 10 and a half hours. Oof. I didn't realize. I guess you're super west. Because I was just like, to me, like North Carolina, I'm thinking like, what even then? Like Western North Carolina, I was thinking like, I guess closer to Virginia Beach, like up in like, oh, you're not too far from the state line there, but it's probably a little deeper down. But yeah, no, that's rough. I'm not offended if you don't do that. There you go. Set up something in the Outer Banks. I'll drive down there. I want to get to the Outer Banks. Oh, you're near the Tennessee border. Got it. Yeah. That's a bit of a hike. 10 hours ain't too bad. But for a tournament, it's like, oof. So you had 2 minutes left on the clock and you couldn't bring yourself to stall it out. So, ironically enough, here I see Gahid. Gahid's like, I'm not going to stall at this point. Gahid's going up to try and do some damage. So, I'm like, let me just go up there and just put as much offense as I can. Worst case scenario. So I hit night scale for 3 wounds, which is really good. But then my thought here is also just, if I do this, I kill a dragon, get that threat off the board. Then next action, he swings that guy, he does 2 wounds, and then I run away. So that's also still kind of here. And just like how you all are talking in the chat, that's absolutely true. And that's what it is too. I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to dance around and stall it. I'm like if there's 2 minutes left, and like spending back will make sure that I don't die in 2 minutes, that's different, or like 1 minute, like, all right, let me take one action to move back and then like not sit there and like, let me think about it. Or like in a physical game, it's not like, all right, let me shuffle. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just doing extra shuffles. Like, nah, not going to do that. So, but we're under the 10-minute mark here. So I'm like, this is it. It's like either I survive or I don't. So Gahid trying to do some strikes. The Black Snake Whip doesn't get there. So We move on to the next turn. So 8.5 to go. I look at this hand. I'm like, this would be a good turn 1 hand. That'd be a real good turn 1 hand. So Gahid rolls initiative and win to 20. So I'm sitting here like, I hear myself as like, tapping back is really cheesy right now. So I'm like, I'm just going to start swinging. Because you know what? 8 minutes too with all of these, like, I really would have to just hope that Ged Dawson doesn't die. Like, that's really it. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just kind of accepting defeat here. Like, it's one of those, like, if I win where every character except for Gahid is dead and I'm stunned with like a wound on me and then the timer ends, it goes back to what I said like right in the beginning of turn 2, where right in the beginning of game 2 where I started the clock about a minute late. So like that factors in. So I'm like, if I call time here, that's also kind of a iffy thing. So it's like when you get in that gray area where it's like, if you really want to be technical, like, oh, time's up. Like, that's it. No, sorry. Like, then I have to be sure that it's precisely an hour and a half, and I'm not confident in that. So I'm cool going with the gray where it's like, all right, yeah, you clearly killed me. So that's about it. So 7 minutes on the clock left. And what we hear at this point is me and Jerva talking, like, just on like the deck construction, everything like that. We're not in a rush to play game 3. I'm just like, let's just accept that it's a 1-1 draw, because it's kind of that same. It goes back to like why I didn't tap back. Like, again, I could have stalled out there and ended it, but I was like, instead of just doing that, like, let's just call it. It's a 1-1 draw. That's fine. So I don't spend the next 6 minutes trying to go for a game 3. And we're just kind of talking about it. It is a pride thing, yeah, for sure. It's also just kind of what feels right. Yeah, you feel bad to win that way. And some people would argue, like, you shouldn't feel bad about winning at all. I've gotten some wins where the opponent just completely punted to themselves, and, like, I don't feel good about that. Like, I always want my opponents to be at their best. But one thing here, like, I'm you guys can't hear, but I'm like, what I'm saying to Jerva, like, at the end is, like, if this is Worlds, then, like online, if I'm at Gen Con, or if we're in an, like, last month's tournament, fuck that. Like, I'm taking the W. But, like, because that's a hyper-competitive environment. This is Campaign Edition in a monthly free tournament that we're doing for fun online. It's against an opponent who just took a month off and tried to play Seraph in the most competitive format. Did an 0-2 drop, realizing that this is kind of tough. So, like, I don't really want to do that to poor Jerva and be like, oh, hey, you've now come back. Welcome back to the game, bro. Let's do it. Like, that's just really bad. But we do draw the theoretical hands. Like, let's see what would have happened game 3. And he's like, oh, yeah, I definitely would have lost. So maybe I should have ran it back, because that would have been his opening hand. Double Dragon, Morgan, Rescue, Living History. Like, I have a Dragon Buckler, 3 Steeds, and a Lady Keithia. I'm putting Lady Keithia down. I'm hoping those hounds don't die. Lady Keithia is getting the Dragon Buckler and a Noble Steed and getting to that front right there, and then just chewing up 3 Brine Fiends. Then Gahid's getting up there and chewing up a Tyron Ruskin, and then winning initiative and going. So game 3, I was probably going to take this match, but with timing, it was not meant to be. And my recording just ended. So this is where we're in awkwardness. We're in the Abyss, guys. But you know what? The Abyss has a giveaway. So now we have fixed that. I will say, again, the result of the match comes into a 1-1 draw. Playing with Jerva was a whole lot of fun. You can see this is one of my few streams where I actually did it sitting down. So right now what I'm doing is moving up, because we got to go to the giveaway. I can't do the giveaway sitting down. That just feels weird. So I got to do this standing up, guys. Get into the position that you all know and love me to be in. So, as a thank you for letting me record and then doing this. I kind of like doing these kind of things. I know I'm literally just rambling by myself for an hour and a half here. But, you know, I kind of like doing this because I like talking. I love hearing myself talk because I love me. But either way, that was a good match, and that's a fun match. We're going to get a lot of that in Campaign Edition. If you're into, like, the slower games and, like, you feel like it's more relevant to, like, you know, I'm playing my guys, you're attacking, you're going, instead of like Ancients where it's like, do you get your like super fast gimmick turn one or whatever, or are you Ubering or whatever? Campaign's a little different like that. It's really is a different style of game. So I am cool with that. I gotta get rid of this reposting because you all can't enter this anymore. Yes, there is a decent amount of you here. But we are going to be giving away a pack to somebody. But I do want to start off giving a pack. We're going to open up a pack for Jerva here. So let me get to that right away. And as you can tell, we're still doing the repost thing. We were able to get one extra repost in the stream I did this morning where round one, I covered Vic and AJ's matchup. Caitlin the Free versus Jacqueline Winson. I apologize that VOD is up. The audio did not come out as great as I want to. I'm embarrassed. I'm an amateur. Their audio is very low, and nobody can hear really what they're saying. So, sorry. The idea was to hear them two bantering and then me talking over them, but I put them way too low, so they weren't, like, you just couldn't hear them. So, you can still hear me talking. It is a little more awkward than my other streams, so I do apologize for that. But, you can go take a look at that. We opened up a pack, and we got one. We got a Squire Trevette. But let me see. I'm going to open up a pack for Jerva. We're going to go 2-2 just in honor of Game 2. Let's do that. So after that, we'll crack a pack for one of you folk here and see what we got. So let's start off with Jerva. What do we got here? Ooh, I see a good uncommon right off the bat. I like that. So let me put the rare down. Let me put these here. And let's have a look at what we got. Starting off with a Return Fire. Score. Gene Court Initiate. There we go. There's a good one. Hand of Icarus. Wyvern's Talon. Falter Stones. And a Blasphemous Sign. Falter Stones, Wyvern Talon, those are good. Gene Coordination's good. Score is funny. Starting off with a... What is that? I can't even... Sorry, my eyes are a little blurry from staring at the screen so long. Flesher Rights. I was like, Flesher? That can't be right. But yeah, Flesher Rights. That's a weird name. We got Inoki. And Blood and Bone. So far, pretty okay pack. Some good commons. The Blood and Bone's really nice. But all that matters is here. We don't see any cards with repost, right? Yeah, no cards with repost. So the repost count still stays at 4. But maybe there's one on this rare. Let's see. Jerva, what do we got for you? We got a Grease. We have the Nothrog Crone. So, good old Grease. Let me read that for you fine folk over here. So, Grease is a level 4 evil wizard, Nothrog, 14 AC, 1 strike at +3, 2 HP, only 2 skill. Not a very skillful crone. Nothrog Summoner Monster Unique. May remain spent. Spend React. After a Nothrog is wounded, ready the Nothrog. Until Grease readies, stuns, or leaves play, the Nothrog gains the ability React once per turn after an opposing character wounds this Nothrog. Ready the Nothrog. So this card's okay. It's not bad. It still sees play in Ancients as a one-of. The good thing about this one is after they wound one of your characters, your spend React readies, and then they give the ability once per turn. So technically they could ready twice in one turn, which makes Grease really good. Yes, yeah, you were so Salty Lock. You agree? Like it's okay. This is a borderline one. Definitely a one of, but I know when I've been building for Ancients specifically, it's one of those like, all right, this is where I want to get in, but I usually do end up cutting it. It does see you play in Ancients, yes. Usually it's a one of. If I had to then determine if this is a win or not, Brick to Fire of Fates combo deck. I'd say this is borderline. Gracchus is saying it's a winner. I don't know. I'm thinking it's middle of the pack right now. Jerver, I don't know if you're watching. Let me know what you think on that one. But if the commons were better, or if that was foil, I would say slam dunk. But I think as is, it's very borderline. Like I saw, and then we saw Static Robes go away. We saw something else go away earlier today. So I kind of put them in that same range here. Yeah, 5.5 out of 10. Like, yeah, so it's just shy of a win, I think, in my case. So I think we're gonna turn this one into a loot box, and that'll do that. So, but Jerv, if you want to make a case for this grease, if you're like, oh, Vac, you had a grease? I've been trying to get one forever, and I don't want to talk to Josh because Josh has a whole bunch of them, and I don't want to buy just the one copy from him. Like, then that's fine. I'll shoot it to you. Just let me know. But otherwise, it's going to the loot box. So with that, we do go to one of you fine folk here. Let me get Nightbot up for you all. If you see your name on the left side, you are eligible. There's currently 3 of you here. We got Bane, we got Gracchus, we got Salty Lock. I think there's at least one other person lurking, according to my Twitch stats over here. So, not sure. It's been a very quiet Sunday. I've done 2 streams today. Usually a lot more are around. Usually I'm in the mid double digits. So I think today everybody had something going on. I think everyone's picking pumpkins or something like that. Who knows? So I did get rated by Sly Fox with 16 midges. So that was good. Shout out to him again for that love he gave me during the middle of the day. But I think with this, we're going to roll off for you 3. So 33% chance we're opening a pack in your honor. This is cool. Let's see what we got. Going once, going twice, and it is going to Gracchus. You got it, bud. So we will open up this pack for you. Would have showed up earlier. I was beating my head against the brick wall trying to figure out how to get my mouse updated and I can install this new CPU. Oh, man. I'm glad that you went through that stressful thing and your way to unwind was to listen to a Jersey guy talk about Warlord. I'm glad that I could be that stress relief for you, bud. Or I just, like, enable that stress, too. I'm cool with that. But Gracchus, we got a pack for you. And since you are active here, you're on a hella delay, but you just saw it. All right. So, Gracchus, you tell me what pack you want to go for, and I'll do it. So I figure we got time here. I was thinking I could probably pick it for you, but since you're actively listening, even if you are on a delay, that's totally fine. So you tell me which pack you want to go. You know, you have the 4 corners, and then how many down. You know how this goes by now, though, Gracchus. You've been around for a long while here. I mean, you even have your own sound alert for bit donations. So, you're gonna think, better than the average because you're not a New Yorker. Facts. Don't let the New York man hear that. Shout out to OREB, wherever he's at. Good old Rob McGowan. Miss you, buddy. Come on back. Play some Warlord with us. Top corner. Deck. There you go. There it is. 100 card deck. Top corner, 3 down. Wait. Which corner? Top left? Okay, cool. Top left corner, 3 down. That's fine with me. Alrighty, so 1, 2, 3. Boom, that's that one. Looks like Gracchus, you know how a square works. There's 4 corners. Alrighty, cheering those bits. Let's see what we got. Okay. I love that it shows me a good uncommon right at the start. Bear Soul might be in this set. Yeah, I know. This set's been pretty good. I'm very happy with this set. Much better than the Good and Evil box that we did. that was a slog. All right, let's see what we got, folks.
100-card deck.
We got a 100-card deck, Gracchus? That's what we got? Okay, cool. Starting off with a Hand of Icarus. Brachial. Slag Gargoyle. Collapsing Bow. All right, starting to look pretty good. Close Ranks. A Matria Tanzik. And a Falter Stones. Those are some good comments. Slag Gargoyle sees play for sure. Collapsing Bow definitely sees play. Close Ranks still sees play today. Matria Tanzik. Kind of fallen out as a starter, but in CE was the starter. Falter Stones, definitely a meta call. Brachial was part of some broken combo that shouldn't have existed. But let's see what you got uncommons wise. What is this guy's name? Penitence? I don't even know this word, what this word means. Penitence? It's not like whatever. There's some goofy dwarf that Bobby probably knows and will enlighten me on later. Expanded spell. What else we got? Cabber the Insane. There we go. That's a solid uncommon right there. But I do notice one key thing. There's still no repost. The repost count is very low for counterattack. But let's see. Maybe, again, could be on the rare. Gracchus, what do I got for you? We have... Oh, man. You got frogged, baby. You got frog. Good old Crossed. He's not a monster. This thing is not a monster. Look at this thing. Oh, my God. One of the funniest arts I have ever seen. Is an act of self-redemption or reflection. Thank you for that. I was wondering what the hell that was. I'm glad it actually exists. I just do not have the vast vernacular to figure that out. All right, let's talk about this Crossed guy, this little frog person. He is a level 3 mercenary, +4/+0, 13 AC, 4 skill, 2 HP. He's a good fighter. He has Riding +5. React. After Crossed is targeted with a melee strike, spend an equipped steed to gain Repost +5 until the end of turn. He has Repost on him. There it is, baby. I did not realize he was a Repost card. There we go. He spends a steed to gain Repost. All right, so Gracchus, you don't get a W for this pack. I don't think you're going to argue with me, but the word Repost counts. So let's get it on there, folks. Finally. So we've now, I think we're about 10 packs deep, maybe a little bit more, maybe 11. We've had 5 total cards with Repost. 3 of them came in 1 pack. And that was it. But yeah, definitely a loser though. But that will wrap it up for the stream. I'd like to thank my round 1 opponent, Jerva. Great games, bud. Great chatting with you as well. That was the first time we may have played like a year and a half ago. I don't know. But it's definitely, if we have played before, it's been a minute. So good having you on the stream and good chatting with you. So wish you all the best, bud. So thanks for coming on and giving us a fun match and letting me record this. Again, happy. No problem that you weren't able to come on the stream or you just chose not to. Like, hey, like, can we just not do that? Totally okay. And that goes to everybody. If Like, I'm always thankful for everybody who does want to come on stream, but I do understand playing on stream is really nerve-wracking and it sucks. So I definitely play games easier when I'm not off stream. So if you ever are more comfortable with me just kind of recording it, this is kind of how I do it. And then that's totally fine. I can totally work with whatever makes people comfortable, because at the end of the day, we just want to play Warlord to have fun. I do the content so people can watch. But we can do that however best suits you. So shout out to Jerva. Thanks for working with me on this, bud. And thanks for the games. Shout out to everybody who came, hung out in chat. Thank you, Gracchus, for all those cheered bits. So really appreciate that. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back for round 2. There's another stream that's in the works. Within the next 3 days, there will be a special stream. So just be on the lookout for that. When you see it, you'll know. And then you'll have an idea of what's happening. So, why did I build a Highlander Savot?
100 card deck.
You could build a 100 card Highlander Savot if you really want. There you go. These are good questions. We definitely did Highlander way back in the day. That might have been the first tournament I played. I played Highlander, Mac, and Macabre. I remember that. That was my first thing. Like, all right, I'll start doing streams. Let's do it. But thanks again, guys. We'll see you for round 2 of Campaign Edition. So with that, take it easy. Have a good night. Bye-bye.